morning, Reverend Dr. Dorothy May Anderson is a Unitarian Universalist community minister with Rainbow Solutions in our next door neighbor, Bedford, where she focuses on connecting spirituality, money, and justice. She consults with justice-making organizations and is a coordinator of the Margaret Fuller Bicentennial. Her writings include Standing Before Us, Unitarian Universalist Women in Social Reform, 1976 to 1936, and the new curriculum, Becoming Women of Wisdom, marking the passage into the crone years. She's currently working on a memoir of the 1960s, and after the service in the vestry, she has a table where she has books available, and you're welcome to purchase and speak with her about the books and her work. So we welcome her.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a delight for me to be able to be here today and to share with you just a bit of what I have learned over this marvelous, almost 2 years now, of the Margaret Fuller Bicentennial. We're actually ending with a 201st birthday party. We began with her 199, so it's been a 2-year project. Her birthday's coming up on May 23rd. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, if you bring forth what is within you, what you have will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. What makes a person great? What shapes the kind of person who will act boldly for justice? What enables a person to bring forth that which is within them to save themselves and the world? Marianne Williamson suggests that this capacity is in all of us. Our deepest fear, she writes, is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us. It's in all of us. One of the uses of history is to provide us with role models. The role models who most inspire me are people who struggle against considerable odds to become great. In entering their stories, I believe we can gain insight on our own challenges. We might even receive moments of grace that enable us to let our own greatness emerge more powerfully. Part of what fascinates me about Margaret Fuller is the questions she raises for me about my own lives. Questions like, how do we know we have something important to contribute to the world? How do we turn the difficulties we encounter in life into opportunities for growth? And how do we find the courage and support to bring forth that which is within us to create? Barry Andrews, UU minister and author of a recent Skinner House book of Margaret Fuller's writings, describes her as, quote, a religious radical, avant-garde cultural critic, feminist, progressive social theorist, investigative journalist, war correspondent, and public intellectual. Wow. And they left out educator, which I personally think is the most important. But any one or two of these would have made her an important person. But she did all of this in a short life of only 40 years. How many of you are older than 40? And in a society where women had almost no rights, where her access to education and even to libraries was limited, and where she had to struggle with difficult economic circumstances. Now, on the plus side, she was born a Unitarian to an educated, although not wealthy family. Her father and her mother taught her to appreciate the beauty of nature. Her friendship circle included many of the luminaries of the day, like famous Unitarian ministers and early American writers and thinkers. Her accomplishments are impressive for anyone in the first half of the 19th century. She wrote and published 4 books and nearly 350 articles, poems, and essays, all published during her lifetime. She influenced many women of her day by encouraging them to think and articulate their ideas through her famous conversations. She helped launch the Transcendentalist movement by serving as the first editor of their journal, The Dial. She articulated the need for gender equality in an article in that journal, and that was later developed into a best-selling book, Woman in the 19th Century. And that book became the Bible of the women's suffrage movement, most of which happened after she died. Then she moved to New York to become the first literary editor of a major metropolitan newspaper. Then she went to Europe as America's first major foreign correspondent. Quite a lot to fit in to just 40 years. Her tragic death in a shipwreck off of Long Island in sight of the shore ended her life, but not her influence. At the beginning of the 20th century, she was still one of the best-known women in America. And then she kind of fell into the shadows. But now, over a century later, with the beginning of the women's movement in the 70s and her rediscovery, and now with this bicentennial, she's become much more now into the public eye. Today, I would like to share with you some of what I've learned about Margaret Fuller's inner journey, how she came to know who she was and what she could contribute to the world. Because this is what fascinates me about her, and I think it's what makes her accessible to all of us, because all of us are on that journey too.